guys, welcome to Windsome Cottage Garden. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. We are still in the midst of winter. We actually got hit by a lot of snow last week where we got something like 20-ish inches over the course of a couple days. And it was really cold. Actually, I should say this, not as cold as some parts of the country. We got down into the low teens and there was some wind that made it single digits, but it was cold enough that salt didn't really work well, and it was right after we got dumped on, so everything kind of slowed down for a few days. So naturally what I did when everything slowed down was go buy some seeds. And they finally came, so I thought I would share with you the new seed varieties I'm adding to my rotation this year. Last year I waited too long to get seeds, so I definitely wanted to do it earlier this year so I didn't miss out on some of the varieties that I did last year. I bought seeds from two places this year. And actually one of them was brand new. But before I get into the brand new place, tried and true favorite was Johnny's Seed Company. I should also add that I bought all these, none of this is sponsored. What I bought from Johnny's this year, I think in its entirety, was vegetables. Johnny's is a really great seed company for a variety of heirlooms and hybrids in particular. They've got some really good stuff. They give you really good growing information. And if you're trying something new, they also I think do a really good job of describing products. So I went there when I knew I wanted some different varieties to try, but I didn't know exactly what variety I was looking for. From Johnny's, I bought 12 different vegetables that I'll be adding to either my garden here at the home garden or doing some seed starts or helping my parents at their vegetable garden, which we added last year. Originally they planned to revamp the raised beds a little bit this year, and they're going to give it one more year before they decide exactly what they want to do. I'll actually link a video of when we added it for the first time, and I don't know if I've got a playlist dedicated to that, but I'll link my vegetable garden playlist here. So if you want to see what I did last year, you can, even though it's a new garden with new possibilities. I'm a big fan of peppers. But since I am going to be planting limited space this year, I think I'm going to cut down on the number of varieties I'm planting. So while I had some seed that I knew I want to do that I'll get into in a later video, the three new seeds that I added to my collection this year are all lunchbox peppers. They're the mini ones that you can buy at the store. They are one of my favorite snacks. What I actually like to do is get like the French dip that's supposed to be like chip dip, and I eat snacking peppers with it. It's so good. Last year I wanted to buy these and I missed my opportunity at Johnny's. They were sold out. So I bought what I thought were the same thing from a different company, and they were not. So hopeful that they are what I want. Now you can buy like a mix there. I didn't opt to do that because I don't like to leave things up to chance when I want a nice variety of colors. So I brought a yellow variety, which is SVP S1263. So descriptive. I bought a red variety, SVP S0897, and a orange variety, which is SVP S0953. So all of these are, which start out green. Most peppers will start out green and then they'll mature to different colors. So if I wanted green peppers, I could pick them early, or I could pick these. And I think they're supposed to be like the 3 to 4 inch type, like that have a mild bell peppery type of flavor. I also had to replenish some of my zucchini seeds. I have a large seed collection. All of these things I did check before I bought to make sure I needed them. And I went through some of the things I knew I wanted to plant, and I needed new zucchinis. So I decided to try something new this year. I have been planting the Fort Hook zucchinis for a number of years because that's what I had the seeds for. And the last 2 years, it's really not performed the way I had wanted it to. I had a germination problem, which the seed was getting a little bit older, so I accepted that. And then I also had, it might have been somewhat user error, but they just, really didn't do well. And I thought, let's start with new fresh seed and a new variety. So I'm going with a hybrid, Kefren, supposed to be pretty disease resistant, have less spines. I don't know about you, but I always break out if I get too close to zucchini plants. So one with less spine is supposed to be less skin irritation. It is supposed to be resistant to powdery mildew, which we do deal with a little bit. So that's something I thought a nice variety to try this year for our zucchini haul. I also needed to get some more summer squash, and I just went with a hybrid yellow summer squash. called Goldfinch. It sounded good. It was also disease resistant, so I thought I would give that a try. Now, I haven't had like a true crookneck squash type of thing in a long time. The last couple that I've grown were actually like golden zucchinis, which I absolutely loved and I might plant one of, but my mom wanted a crookneck squash, so I decided to try that. Another thing that I'm bringing back that I haven't grown in quite some time is onions. I got some Candy F1 hybrid onions, which is like an improved Walla Walla. I did grow some red onions a long time ago and they didn't thrive because I planted them out normally. We had a really late frost. They got zapped. They made their way back. And then we had like some super, super hot weather really early that they just fried. And they recovered again after that. But between the two setbacks, they didn't do well. So I haven't given them a great chance. And I want to redo that, starting over with a candy variety. I wanted to do Walla Walla originally, but they're not don't have as long as a store life. This improved version is supposed to have a little bit more storage. I thought I'd give it a try, see how it goes. I also got some new bunching onions called Nabichan. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. But I just needed some scallions. The last ones I had, I don't remember the exact variety, but they weren't a true bunching onion. They were like a specialty Japanese type of onion. But I was harvesting them as bunching onions because, again, I missed out on ordering seeds until all the varieties that I wanted were gone. So this year, got some early. Now these I won't start ahead of time. I'm just going to plant these directly when I'm out planting because you don't really need to do anything more than that. And another thing that I won't be doing seed starting with, but I did buy, was parsnips. I've never grown parsnips. My mom and dad go through parsnips pretty regularly, so we thought it might be fun to try. These are Albion F1 parsnips. I didn't realize they were pelleted, which isn't great because pelleted you want to use in your first year. So I have had some success with pelleted things being used in the second year, but their germination rate greatly reduces. So unfortunately for me, there's like 250 seeds in here and I don't need 250 parsnips. So we'll get to test that, but I'm excited to get this started and start that new adventure. This is one that you could like winter over, or you could do a long day harvest. So maybe I'll do a little bit of both and see how they go. The last few varieties that I ordered from Johnny's are all tomatoes. My mom and dad's garden, they had a mixed bag of tomatoes last year, partly because they dealt with birds quite a lot. We had to net things and we did get some stuff saved, but it kind of messed a little bit with production. And when we did get stuff, they weren't as happy with some of them turned out. We wanted to try some different varieties this year. So one of the things I did buy was a German Johnson variety, which is a hybrid variety from Johnny's, which is kind of an improved brandy wine. It's got a higher yield. One of the things that they struggled with was productivity, so we were looking for highly productive plants to add in. And they also wanted some nice slicer types. So usually, in my opinion, the best slicers are heirlooms. But Johnny's is known for having some hybrids with great heirloom taste, which you get some of that boost in production and disease resistance when you do use hybrids that have been bred specifically for that purpose. So the German Johnson is one we are going to try to see how it is. And I think they're excited about this. Another one, speaking of a hybrid that's really prolific that I am adding to the garden this year, is a Grandero F1 hybrid. And it is their most prolific plum tomato, which is kind of like a plum and a paste, similar enough, well enough, kind of like a Roma plum. That kind of size is pretty good. Now, one thing that I noticed, I actually commented to my friends who buy seeds, I know the cost of a lot of things have gone up. This packet of seeds, I got 15 seeds, which I feel like is less than you normally get. I feel like you used to get 25, and it cost me like $8 if this is the one that I'm remembering. I mean, I bought it, obviously, because I wanted the variety, which is how they get you every time. But I have noticed how much more the cost of seeds have gone up. So one of the goals I have for myself this year is to try and be better about saving seeds. So I'm going to be doing some work on figuring out the best way to save seeds that are over or like open pollinated. I've seen some videos where people will put, like covers on and pollinate themselves so they're not getting cross pollinated. But If you have tips for that, I'd love to hear them below, specifically for tomato varieties. I'd really appreciate that. So, but I'm excited about this Granadero, and it's got a great germination rate, so hopefully I don't need to use all 15 seeds this year. Another hybrid that we got this year is the Big Beef, which is a nice, you're like, kind of like what I would assume you'd see those perfect tomatoes at like farmers markets that are round, and you're like, gosh, those look so good. That's what the Big Beef looked like to me when I was buying seeds. And my parents did want one that they love the Paul Robeson too, and they'll still plant one or two. But with Paul Robeson's, one of the things that can be frustrating is the like shoulders of the tomato never ripens, and they wanted one that was like fully ripe. Enter the Big Beef. So the last variety we did buy is actually another cherry tomato that I've never grown, but I know it's a really popular one, which is a Super Sweet 100, another hybrid. We've grown Jasper cherry tomatoes in the past, which are super flavorful, but also quite small. I think they're like a centimeter, maybe. So it's a small burst in your mouth, but you probably need like 6 of them to make it a mouthful. So did some of those. We've also done Chadwick cherry tomatoes, which we will be growing again, but they're bigger. They're like golf ball size, which is a little big for a cherry tomato. The Super Sweet 100, I'm thinking looks like it'll be in the middle of those. And I've heard they're great, so we're interested in trying those again as well. Those are all the new vegetable varieties that I will be adding into the rotation this year. The other place that I bought seeds from this year were Swallowtail Garden Seeds. I will be honest and share that I was 100% influenced by Garden Answer. I actually went there because this is where Laura bought some of her geranium seeds, pelargonium seeds. And in the end, I didn't actually end up buying any of those because I am on a budget and I put everything that I wanted in my cart, and it was several $100s. I didn't have several $100s to spend on seeds, so I slowly started, the culling process. And what I decided to focus on, especially in this new house, is perennial varieties that I can start from seed. I've got a lot of garden space to fill, and I really enjoy seed starting and flowers. So I thought I would take this as an opportunity. There's some of these that are annuals, but most of them are perennials. I focused in on that I can add here and at the cottage to get some of that garden cottagey vibe, and I'll plant them out this year. If I end up moving them to a different spot, that's okay. But I wanted to just, embrace it. One of the other things that I'm excited that I'll probably be doing in an upcoming video, not the next one, but one soon thereafter, is I'm going to be trying to sow these 2 different ways. I have never used the winter sowing method, but I've heard a lot of great things. So I have been collecting milk jugs, and I'm going to try sowing some of them using the milk jug method. And then I'll also sow some of them in a more traditional method. I'm interested to see what works best and which produces like a stronger plant. You'll be able to follow along with me as I experiment with that. To the seeds, we should probably start with the things that aren't perennial. Annuals, I picked up some alyssum mix. I absolutely love to plant alyssum around the base of most of my like tomatoes and peppers and things like that. It helps keep weed suppression down. It attracts pollinators, and it's pretty. So I do marigolds and alyssum, and I was completely out of alyssum seeds from last year. So I got a clear crystal mix, a clear crystal white, a Wonderland mix, and that was it actually. Oh, I did buy some geraniums. I completely forgot. They didn't have the variety originally I came for, but I know I plant geraniums in some of my pots, and one of the things that I'm trying to do this year, especially with seeds, is reduce the number of plants I need to buy. So I have a Maverick Apple Blossom geranium, which was a really pretty, like light white, blushy pink one, which I normally go for more vibrant colors, but something about that soft color palette really spoke to me. So I got that one, which I'm really excited about. I also got a Bullseye red geranium, which is my mom loves red geraniums, so I'll be planting a couple of those for her. I also got a Maverick violet geranium, which is like that really intense vibrant color that is more what I typically go for. In fact, I have bought these the last 3 years, and I thought this year might be fun to grow them myself. I need to get these started sooner rather than later, because they do take quite a bit of time to grow on. So that's something I'll probably be doing in the next little bit. But all of these are a couple of different sizes. The Maverick Apple blossom is like 12 to 18 inches tall with like 4 to 6 inch blooms, so very classic. The bullseye is 14 to 16. Another thing that I actually went a little bit crazy this year and bought a large variety of things that were, again, an annual, was Coleus. I have a lot of shade here at my new house. And I think a lot of the pots in the front that I do, I'm going to just do like leaf style plants. And I wanted to try some of them in the ground to kind of fill some places in. And so I thought, you know what? Let's get a couple varieties and start them myself. Swallowtail actually had like 40 varieties. I originally had something like 12 or 13 in my cart. Could not buy and use 12 or 13. So I decided to focus in on a number of mixes. The first of which was the Wizard Select mix, which I'll have been popping photos on here, so you guys will be able to see. It's actually like a pretty standard mix in my mind. If you're starting seed Coleus, this is a lot of times what you will get. There's still a lot of variety in it, which I appreciated, but some of the other ones I had didn't have that like chartreusey color, and I was missing it. These are ones that will get 12 to 14 inches tall-ish, and like either filtered sun or afternoon shade, which I've got in droves. So the next mix I got was the Rainbow Improved mix, which I really went because it had a lot of those vibrant colors I liked. It looked super velvety, and I loved a lot of them had like the ridges in different colors, and some of them were that really pretty chartreuse. I'm hoping I get a couple of those. They will get 15 to 20 inches tall. The last series I bought was their Giant Exhibition Mix series, which these are ones that are taller plants. They will grow up to 20 inches, but the leaves on them are supposed to be really big too. One of the main reasons I bought this mix is because I had all the other varieties individually in my cart. And since I had literally had every, before I started, winnowing down the list, because I had every one in the Giant Exhibition, like, line in my cart, I thought, gotta get the mix. I did buy two varieties, like singleton varieties, the first of which was the Kong Rose Coleus, and Johnny's Seeds packets are known for a lot of text. These Swallowtail ones also have a lot of text and a lot of information, but no pictures, so I'll be popping those on the screen in case you were wondering what the seed packets look like. These ones I have actually bought again from different nurseries, and I love them so much. So the other thing with these guys, since they are all obviously seeded varieties, I'm assuming they're not sterile, so I'm going to also be trying to harvest seed from these so that I don't have to buy this many Coleus again unless I want other varieties. I forgot, I have one more Coleus variety called the Black Dragon, and I was just in love with this one. This one was a really deep saturated color with really frilly edges. It doesn't get that tall. Well, okay, it gets about 18 inches. It is also really well known to be a patio or like bedding plant. So I'm going to be planting it in both places this year to see how I like it, because I've never done a ton of them in the ground and I wanted to this year, and the most cost-effective way to do that, seeds. So those were all the annuals that I bought. I then went into some perennials, as I mentioned earlier, and I focused on ones that are more like cold tolerant because I knew I wanted to do this winter sowing method. The first of which are Columbine. Columbine are a beautiful spring variety there, as I'm just kind of dipping my toe in. Didn't want to overcommit. So I didn't go as crazy as I could have, is what the point of that is. This mix though, the Sweet Rainbows mix, has very fluffy, like double almost flowers. Not, in my mind, quite the fully typical flowers that you get for Columbine. They were just really so unique that I was, loving them and wanting to try. This variety, the plants will be 2 to 2.5 feet tall, so they're taller. These varieties are also hardy down to zone 3. I am now a zone 6B, so I'm good. I think what I'm going to be doing is probably splitting these in half, doing half of them in a winter jug and half of them inside, and just use the whole packet this year and see how it goes. The next variety I bought is another mix. I think I had to do a couple of mixes in all of these different varieties because I really wanted more than one variety. I liked the whole line and I thought the mix was good. And this is the Kirigami mix. These are what I think of when I think of Columbines. They've got that like tail. I don't know what you would call those. Beautiful, typical Columbine flower shape. but they've got a lot of bicolor. These, there's a mix of like the yellow, the blue, and the pinks and the reds, hoping I will get a variety of each. These guys will only get about 14 to 24 inches tall, so a lot smaller than the other rainbows variety mix. And they're also hardy down to zone 5. The last one I got is, in my mind, a showstopper. It is a black beauty called Black Barlow Columbine that looked truly black in the photos, like blue black. They're the kind that are so heavily doubled that they like hang down. They just looked so cool. They're gonna get up to 32 inches tall, and they're hardy down to zone 3. And I really, really, really hope that these take. I am a sucker for black plants. I saw this and I thought, oof, gotta add it and see how it goes. So I'm excited to add that. That was the last Columbine I had. The next perennial that I purchased quite a number of seeds for were hollyhocks. Now, I started some hollyhocks from seed at my old house 2-ish years ago. I think it was before I started my YouTube channel. I honestly don't remember, but I had absolutely horrible luck with germination, and also once I did get some to germinate, I planted them out and they were eaten back to nubs in my yard. I thought that they were supposed to be like animal resistant, but go tell that to the rabbits at my old house. I did end up having 2 hollyhocks make it out of approximately 6 seedlings that survived. And I brought those with me because I was so proud of them. They were queenie dwarf ones or something like that. And they were both like double whites, really pretty. I don't know if they survived their transportation or if they'll survive their wintering over, but because I love them so much, and I love hollyhocks and I love cottage gardens, and we wanted to add some of these specifically to the cottage garden, I went with 3 different hollyhock varieties. The first one was a majorette mix hollyhock. Now these are dwarf hollyhocks. So these are 2-foot tall plants, which I feel like are so easy to fit in places. And they came in a whole variety of colors, shades of pink, scarlet, maroon, yellow, rose, and white. They're biennial, which means the plants themselves will last 2 years. But they will flower in their first year. So a lot of times biennials, like foxgloves, some of them are biennial, they don't flower till the 2nd year. So what you really want to do if you have that kind of variety is start some this year, start some next year. So the ones you started this year will flower next year. The ones you start next year will do the one after that. And hopefully they all produce seed and seed themselves. So then you have the flowers every year. Majorette, you don't need to worry about that. They can flower in their first year, and they're such full, beautiful, frilly doubles. I'm going to be starting a whole lot of these and planting them everywhere. I really want to do a mass planting of these somewhere at the cottage. Butterflies and hummingbirds and pollinators love these. So I want to do a little bit of research to see if they are animal resistant or I just have that in my head incorrectly, because I would love to circle the cottage's vegetable garden in hollyhocks, but I'd like to do it on the outside of it if I have the space. We'll see. And if I plant enough of them and enough of them survive, then I might risk a little bit of deer action. But we have pretty bad deer pressure at the cottage, so I want to do some research before I commit to that. The next variety of hollyhocks I got were another dwarf variety. This one was the Spring Celebrities Mix, and they are again a double. I'm a sucker for a double. But they have such a beautiful range of colors. Shades of carmine, rose, crimson, lemon, lilac, pink, purple, and white. They're going to get 30 to 36 inches tall. They also will, if I start them early enough, flower in the first season. Otherwise, if they're planted in the summer, they won't flower to the next year. So I'm going to be starting some of these early in the hopes I'll get some blooms this year. They are also hardy down to zone 5. Last variety of hollyhocks I purchased are the tall, beautiful hollyhocks. These were the Charter's double mix hollyhocks. They will get up to 7 feet tall, and they've got those beautiful spires that are going to be 5 to 6 inch flowers with a wide variety of color. These ones are probably mostly going to go to the cottage. We won't know what color they are until they bloom, and we're going to have to plant them against one of the rock walls. But we have a couple areas that I think that these will do really well in, and excited. I love hollyhocks. They just scream summer and cottage garden to me. And my mom told me last year, she goes, we really need some hollyhocks at the cottage garden. And I agree. So I got her, and we're coming for them. The last perennial seed type I bought were lupins. Lupins are one of my favorite perennials. I did bring one variety with me. I had some pretty blue ones that grew along my driveway at my old house that would seed themselves like crazy, and I saved a couple babies to bring with me. I didn't get great root systems, so I'm hoping that they had enough time to reestablish. They survived up until, the winter. But I've never grown them from seed before on purpose. I've only done like the accidental ones. So when I saw Swallowtail had lupins and a large variety of colors, I bought one of every one in stock. Starting out with the Governor Lupin, which is, I think, more of like a traditional lupin. Now, it is bicolored, so it's got like yellow and blue, but it's, that classic 40-inch tall spike that is just gorgeous. I also love lupins foliage. They've got like a little umbrella leaf that holds water. Like if you've ever seen how Lady's Mantle holds water in the morning, I feel like lupins are kind of like that too. So this one, if I start early enough, so I'm going to get on that sooner rather than later, they will bloom this year. Otherwise, it'll be blooming next year. Lupins are also deer and rabbit resistant. This variety is hardy down to zone 4. This is another one that I might experiment with planting some inside and outside at the cottage, but I'm going to make sure that I get these all in my yard. I don't actually have a ton of sun in my yard, and these guys, though they don't like super hot temperatures, do like the sun. So it's going to be a bit of a balancing act. The next variety I have is the Chatelaine variety, which is very much like the Governor, but is like pink instead of a blue. They're going to get to that same, 3.5 feet tall, and they are also hardy down to a zone 4. So again, that's one that I'll save some seeds back to plant next year. So hopefully if they don't plant flower to that next year, I have both years covered. So then I also bought an all white lupin, which I have seen in stores before and not purchased. I guess for some reason, though, I think they're really pretty. I've had a hard time justifying spending $25+ on a white lupin, but I will spend, $7 on a seed packet to grow my own. These will only get 36 to 40 inches tall, but they are, again, hardy down to a zone 4. And who knows, since I've never actually bought it, the idea of it, I'm like, do I want that in my yard? Yeah, I want it for a $7 seed packet. So I'm excited about that. I also purchased one called a My Castle lupin, which is looks like a very dramatic red. Now, last year we actually purchased one called a Rum Raisin. I think it was on the clearance rack at Lowe's, and that was another red one that was really pretty. Red is my mom's favorite color. And these ones, the pictures at least, look super saturated and tall. So I am excited about this. They're supposed to also attract hummingbirds like crazy. Lupins in general do. So I'm going to be making sure to plant some for myself and for my mom. Again, so I think most of these lupins are hardy down to zone 4. I purchased an all yellow one called the Chandelier, which is again that 30 to 35 inches or 30 to 36 inches. And then I bought a mix of one called the Band of Nobles. I couldn't tell if this one had all the ones that I already just named in this. There were some in the pictures. It looks like they've got more variety of bicolored ones. It does have some yellow varieties in here too, but I was also having a hard time seeing if that was like a true yellow or if they were bicolored yellow. So I decided to just do them all, and we'll see. These will get 3 to 3.5 feet tall, and they are also hardy down to zone 4. So those are actually all the seeds that I purchased. When you're in the middle of a snowstorm and you're really longing for the spring and summer days, it's probably not the best time to go seed shopping, because even though I showed great restraint, I could have gone a lot crazier than I did. I also probably bought a few more seeds than I needed. But what is the joy in life without seed varieties? The next step is to actually get these seeds started, which I will of course document on this channel. I need to figure out in this new house where my lights are going to go, because I don't have a great place in mind yet. It's probably going to involve moving some stuff around, but I'll figure that out soon enough. I always love seeing the type of seeds that other people are buying. If you've grown any of these varieties, please comment below what you liked about them, if there's any challenges that I should look out for. And are you itchy? she does this at night, especially when she wants to go to bed. What she'll do, and she might do it right now, is she will scratch her back all the way along and knock every single pillow off the couch. Oh, I actually tidied the pillows up before I did this. I think she's taking it as a personal challenge. She's so cute. That's Mia. I know you guys see Maisie, who's down here quite a lot of videos because she's the dog that has to be outside if I'm outside. Mia wants to be invited, and then she'll be like, okay, I'm done, unless it's the perfect temperature. And then she'll come inside and sit on the couch and knock all the pillows off. She's part cat, I'm pretty sure, but she sure is cute. If you like this content, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I can't wait to see you next time. And I can't wait to get this gardening season underway. It's cold, Michigan. I've still got 2 or 3 months before my last frost here. But I can dream and I can plan. Anyway, I really appreciate you joining me today, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.